Folding e-bikes are great for saving space and throwing in the back of your car, but usually there's some kind of compromise. Well, this is the new Mokwheel Slate, and it's designed to give you that portability without giving up the things you actually want in an everyday e-bike. So today we're going to put it together, take it out for a real-world ride, and see if this is actually a folding e-bike we'd want to use every day.
Daddy O here from the O family. Now, we worked with Mokwheel in the past, and we've had a really good experience with their e-bikes. So when they reached out again and asked if we wanted to check out their new folding e-bike, the Mokwheel Slate,
oh, say less.
I was definitely excited to get my hands on it. What caught my attention about this one is the everyday practicality. It folds up, it's easy to store and transport.
Okay.
It could be a great option for neighborhood rides, parks, camping, or even throwing in the car for a family trip.
Nice.
But of course, we're going to test it out for ourselves. So let's get this thing out of the box, get it put together, and see what the Mokwheel Slate is all about.
As soon as you open up the box, you can see the bike is really well protected. There's plenty of styrofoam, padding, and zip ties throughout to keep everything secure during shipping. And Mokwheel has always done a really good job with their packaging, so everything arrived looking nice and clean with no damage. So let's start cutting off all these zip ties, get the bike out of the box, and see what else comes with the Slate. Alright, here's the bike.
Nice.
And right away, I'm really liking the look of it. This platinum color looks sharp, especially with that silver gray finish. The Slate comes in two colors. This one is platinum, and they also have denim, which has more of a bluish look to it. Here's our front tire. I like the tan gum wall design, and the tread looks like it should be pretty good for everyday riding. Of course, we'll see how it feels once we get it out on the road. We also have the seat, and first impression, it actually feels pretty soft and cushioned. We'll find out later if it's still comfortable after putting some miles on it. You get a manual air pump, the front fender, and then inside this smaller box, Mokwheel gives you pretty much everything you need to finish the assembly. We have our tools, Mokwheel's little thank you card, the owner's manual, some zip ties to keep the wiring nice and tidy, the headlight, left and right pedals, and some extra screws, bolts, and even brake pads. And I like that everything is nicely labeled. You also get a nice long screwdriver, a Mokwheel keychain, the removable display, and finally our 54.6 volt 3 amp charger, and that's pretty much everything that comes in the box. So now let's get the Mokwheel Slate put together. Let's get the Slate put together. First thing I'm doing is lifting up the stem and locking it into place. Then I loosened up the screws on the stem, lined everything up with the front fork to make sure the handlebars were nice and straight, and tightened everything back down. Next, I removed the protective metal bar and the plastic guard from the front brake. And now we can slide in the front wheel. Just make sure that brake rotor slides right between the brake pads, then tighten down the bolts on both sides. And once that's secure, I always like to give the wheel a quick spin just to make sure everything is moving freely and nothing is rubbing. Next up is the seat post. Just slide that in and adjust it to your height. For the front fender and headlight, I removed the screws from the top and sides, lined everything up, and tightened it all back down. Then just connect the headlight wire and that part is done. Now for the display, attach the bracket to the handlebars and the display simply locks right onto it. I like that it's removable too, especially if you're leaving the bike somewhere. Then we have our pedals. The right pedal goes on clockwise, and remember, the left pedal is reverse threaded so that one goes on counterclockwise. And finally, I'm just adjusting the grips, brake levers, controls, and bell exactly where I want them. And that's pretty much it. Assembly on the Slate is really straightforward. Taking my time, the whole thing took me about 30 minutes max. Now that we've got it put together, let's take a closer look at what this bike actually comes with.
Now that we got the Slate put together, let's take a closer look at what you're actually getting with this bike. Starting with the battery, you got a 48 volt 15 amp hour battery that complies with UL standards. The battery itself is rated IPX7 waterproof, while the entire bike is rated IPX6. For power, you're getting a 500 watt motor that can peak at 860 watts along with 70 newton meters of torque. Top speed on the throttle is 20 miles miles per hour, and with pedal assist you can get up to 25 miles per hour. Mokwheel is also claiming around 50 to 60 miles of range, and of course depending on how you ride it. Now one thing I really like about the Slate is the weight. It's only around 54 pounds, which is pretty light for an e-bike, and that's especially important because this thing folds. Just release the latch in the middle of the frame, folding the bike in half, fold down the handlebars. Now you got something much more compact, and honestly that's one of the biggest reasons I can see someone going with the Slate. You can easily store it without taking up a ton of room, or throw it in the trunk and take it with you on a family trip, camping, or wherever you want to ride. Once you get there, pull it out, unfold it, lock everything back into place, and you're ready to go. And even with a lighter, compact design, the Slate can still handle up to 350 pounds. For tires, we have these 20 by 3-inch tires, and the Slate actually uses both torque sensor and cadence sensor. So I'm definitely curious to see how smooth and natural that pedal assist feels once we start riding. For stopping power, you got Logan hydraulic disc brakes, which is another nice feature to see unfolding e-bike. As far as fit, Mokwheel recommends Slate for riders from about 5'1" to 6'1", and the saddle adjusts from around 32 to 37 inches. I'm 5'10", and for me it feels pretty much perfect. Although just from sitting on it, I do think if you're around 5'3" or shorter, it might feel a little tall. Of course, everybody's inseam is different, so that's something to keep in mind. Now let's check out the handlebars and controls. Over on the left, you have your thumb throttle, your main control pad. Hold the power button for a couple of seconds and everything comes to life. And I really like this display. It's big, bright, easy to read, and right from the main screen you can see your speed, battery level, pedal assist level, riding mode, headlight, trip mileage, and riding time. You also got your plus and minus button for pedal assist, your turn signals, and your light controls. Over on the right, you have your 7-speed Shimano shifter, Logan brake lever, and of course the little dingy bell. Up front, you got a nice bright LED headlight. Something I really like on the Slate is the integrated turn signals. And check out the back. You got this really cool looking tail light with the turn signals built right in. I always like seeing this on an e-bike, especially if you're going to be riding around traffic. Now, there's actually quite a bit you can customize through this display too. Hold the plus and minus buttons together for a few seconds, and that takes you into the technical settings. From here, you can adjust things like your language, assist levels, voltage level, wheel diameter, and a few other bike settings. And if you hold the left and right turn signal buttons together, you get another function menu where you can change things like screen brightness, miles or kilometers, throttle speed, pedal assist speed, assist intensity, riding modes, and startup behavior. So there's actually quite a bit of customization built into this display, which I really like. But specs only tell you so much. What I really want to know is how this thing actually rides. So let's get the Slate outside and put it to the test. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take this out for a spin. It's a beautiful day here. It's a little bit hot and muggy, 85 degrees. Let's go ahead and turn this bike on. Hold the power button for a few seconds. It says Mokwheel, nice and bright, and just like the other models they have. I love their screen, and this bike is super light, and it's light enough that I can pedal like a regular bike. But I did change a few things on the function setting. I think I did throttle up to 30 miles per hour. I don't know if it really gonna go up to 30. Let me try it up to 50. Highly doubt that. Okay. I did change intensity setting all the way up to 5. Originally it was at 3, so which means I think it's gonna have lots of power from the motor instant. Let's leave it at that. Here we go. So lightly paddling here. It is super light, super quiet, going about 7 miles per hour. We go up to pedal assist 1. Remember, this is torque and cadence sensor, so the harder you paddle, more power you're gonna feel. Right now I'm going about 10 miles per hour. 11, quick brake check. Brake is excellent. Now let me try pedal assist 2. And I am feeling more power from the motor. It's going about 13, 14 miles per hour. The bike is smooth. It feels super light. Pedal assist 2, 16 miles per hour. Now I'm on pedal assist 3, 18, no problem. Let's go up to pedal assist 4. You can hear the motor a little bit kicking in. 22, 23. Adjustable front suspension, it feels great. Still on pedal assist 4. Paddling is super easy. 26 on paddle assist 4. And just like any of their models, I love their grip, this bubbly grip. You don't think about it as much. The longer you ride, this grip feels really comfortable. You go to pedal assist 5, the highest level. Definitely feel more torque. 27, 28. 28, no problem. Feel the way this is designed feels small compared to what I'm used to, which is great for like beginners. It's not as big and heavy and lots of power, torquey, so it's not as intimidating as those powerful e-bikes. So this is great for anybody who's looking into an e-bike, never had an e-bike experience. This would be a great starter. And Mokwheel, they're known for their quality bikes. Everything about the buttons, the display, the grip, it doesn't feel cheap and plastic. It's well-built quality, and the ride feel, it's so smooth. I did change the setting. Let me try the thumb throttle here. How fast this is gonna go. I thought it's gonna go up to 50. It's about 25, 26. It says on the paper it will go up to 20 miles per hour, but this one's going 27. Thumb throttle, but I think because I changed the setting, it's going up to 27, 28, 28.3 is the highest. Folding e-bike like this with that motor, it's got enough power to get you up the hill on some rough roads. And 350 pound max load capacity, and how it can fold the stem and the middle frame, put it in your trunk. You can take it anywhere and enjoy the ride. This is perfect. Perfect for everyday commute. Depends how you ride. They said the range could ride up to 50 to 60 miles. And even though it's not a full suspension, let me just test out real quick how it's gonna feel in this rough road here, and grassy and hilly and bumpy road. All right, let's check it out. After spending some time riding the Slate, the first thing that really stood out to me is just how light and nimble this bike feels. It's smaller and more compact than a lot of the e-bikes I normally ride, but it still feels really solid and well put together. And honestly, that doesn't surprise me. We worked with Mokwheel before, and build quality has always been one of the things I've liked about their bikes. Even the little things, the grips, buttons, controls, and the big display, everything just has a nice premium feel to it. And as far as power, it's not trying to be some crazy high power e-bike, but for what this bike is designed for, I think it has plenty. It's fun to ride, it handles hills well, you got enough range for commuting, running errands, or just cruising around for the day. But I think where the Slate really makes sense is the portability. Being able to fold this thing down, throw it in the trunk, drive somewhere, pull it out, and just go for a ride. That's something you simply can't do as easily with the big heavy e-bike. But the ride itself has been really smooth. The adjustable front suspension does a nice job soaking up the bumps. Overall, it's just an easy bike to ride. Comfortable, compact, and enough power to have some fun without feeling like too much bike. And honestly, I could cruise around on this thing for hours. Alright, so now for the pros and cons. And like always, these are just my personal opinions. Yours might be completely different, and honestly, I'm pretty much nitpicking here. For my first cons, I think it would have been awesome to see full suspension on the Slate. The front suspension already does a good job, but adding rear suspension would make it even more comfortable, especially if you wanted to take it onto some rougher roads or trails. And my other little complaint is the bell. It works, but I would have loved to see a nice electronic horn or something a little louder. But honestly, those are pretty minor complaints because there's a lot to like about this bike. The overall build quality is excellent. The control feels premium. Braking is really good. You got integrated turn signals, and most importantly, the Slate really easy to live with. And I think that's where this bike really shines. If you're commuting to work, running errands, taking it camping, or you're an older or smaller rider who's been intimidated by some of these huge heavy e-bikes, the Slate makes a lot of sense. It's approachable, easy to handle, and you can fold it up and bring it along without dealing with the massive 80 or 90 pound bike. For an everyday folding e-bike, I think Mokwheel did a really nice job with this one. And that's going to do it for our review of the Mokwheel Slate. If you guys want to check one out for yourself, I'll leave our affiliated link down in the description, and you can use code SMW50 to save additional $50. And of course, huge thank you to Mokwheel for sending out the Slate and sponsoring today's video. We've really enjoyed working with them again. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss what we got coming next. We really appreciate all the support, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.